Have you ever walked into a place for the very first time and somehow knew exactly where everything was? Or met someone you've never seen before, but felt like you've known them your whole life? These moments, those strange flickers of deja vu or unshakable feelings. They might not be random. They might be echoes from another lifetime. For thousands of years, people across the world have believed in past lives. The idea that our souls are on a journey, living many lives across time, learning, growing, remembering. What if your soul has lived before? And what if the signs are already showing? Today, we're exploring 9 unmistakable clues that you've been here before, and some of them might change the way you see yourself forever. 1. Unexplained fears or phobias. Have you ever felt an intense fear that didn't quite make sense? Maybe you're terrified of deep water, even though you've never had a bad experience of swimming. Or heights make your heart race and your palms sweat, even though you've never fallen or had a close call. These fears, they seem to come out of nowhere. They don't follow the usual logic. They aren't linked to a traumatic event you can remember. But what if the memory isn't gone? What if it's just buried? Not in your mind, but in your soul. In the theory of reincarnation, it's believed that traumatic experiences from previous lives can leave a deep emotional imprint on the soul. So if you once drowned in a past life, that terror could follow you into this one, surfacing as an unexplainable fear of water. Your conscious mind may not remember, but your soul does. These fears often resist logic. You can tell yourself that flying is safer than driving, but no amount of statistics can ease that deep, irrational panic when the plane takes off. That's because the fear isn't rooted in this life. It's a whisper from a life long gone, a scar from a story you've forgotten, but your soul has not. And recognizing these fears for what they might be, that's the first step toward healing something far older than this lifetime. 2. Recurring dreams or nightmares. Have you ever had a dream that felt too real? Not just vivid, but familiar. As if you weren't just dreaming, you were remembering. Maybe you found yourself walking through a city you've never visited, but somehow you knew exactly where to go. Or you've dreamt of a life that isn't yours, yet every detail feels right. The clothes, the language, the people, it all just fits. These aren't just ordinary dreams. They could be something deeper, echoes from a past life, surfacing in your sleep when the noise of the waking world fades away. You see, when we dream, the boundaries between our conscious and subconscious begin to blur. And in that space, memories that are normally hidden, memories not of this life, but of another, can rise to the surface. Recurring dreams, especially those tied to a specific era, place, or identity, may not be your imagination running wild. They might be your soul replaying fragments from a story it lived long ago. Even nightmares, those sudden jolts of fear in the night, could be your past trying to speak. Scenes of danger, war, loss, or trauma, not from this lifetime, but from one etched deep into the soul's memory. So if you keep revisiting the same dream, the same time, the same unfamiliar life, don't dismiss it. Write it down. Reflect on it. Because you might not be dreaming at all. You might be remembering. 3. Inexplicable skills or knowledge. Have you ever picked up something new and felt like you weren't learning it for the first time, but remembering? Maybe you sat at a piano and your fingers knew where to go before your mind could catch up. Or you started learning a language and certain words just made sense, as if they were tucked away in your memory, waiting to be found. Some people call it talent, others call it intuition. But what if it's something else entirely? In the realm of past lives, it's believed that the soul carries more than just emotional energy. It carries knowledge, experience, skill. Everything you've mastered in another lifetime doesn't just vanish, it leaves fingerprints, quiet impressions on your soul. So when you suddenly understand a craft, a language, or an art form, when it feels effortless, familiar, even nostalgic, it may be because you've done it before. Over lifetimes, your soul may have painted, written, danced, healed, invented. And while your current body and brain are new, the essence of that experience still lingers within you. It's not magic, it's memory of a life your conscious mind has forgotten, but your spirit never has. So the next time something comes naturally to you, ask yourself, is this just a gift, or is it something my soul has carried with it for centuries? For Xenoglossy, the language of past lives. Imagine this. You're listening to a language you've never studied. It's foreign, complex, completely unfamiliar. And yet, something about it feels right. You understand the rhythm, the emotion. Maybe you even know what it means. Or one day, without warning, a word slips from your mouth in a language you've never consciously learned. This mysterious phenomenon is called xenoglossy, the sudden ability to speak, understand, or write in a language with no prior knowledge or training. Skeptics call it coincidence. Some claim it's hidden exposure or unconscious mimicry. But others, especially in spiritual traditions, believe it's something far deeper, a fragment of your past self, speaking through you. Perhaps you once lived in ancient China or walked the streets of Renaissance Italy. And in that life, language wasn't just communication, it was identity. Now in this life, your soul carries that imprint, and every so often it rises to the surface. It's rare, it's mysterious, and it's one of the most fascinating pieces of the reincarnation puzzle. So if you've ever found yourself drawn to a language you've never studied, or speaking words you don't remember learning, maybe, just maybe, your soul is whispering in a voice it hasn't used in centuries. 5. A deep connection to certain cultures or time periods. Have you ever felt drawn to a place you've never been? Or a time in history that makes your heart ache with longing? Like you're homesick for a world you've never seen? Maybe it's ancient Egypt with its golden temples and cryptic hieroglyphs, or feudal Japan with its serene gardens and warrior code. Maybe it's the jazz-filled streets of 1920s New Orleans, or a quiet village in the Highlands of Scotland. It's more than interest, it's a pull, a magnetic connection, a feeling that somehow you belong there. Spiritual traditions often interpret this as a sign from a past life, a memory echoing through time, reminding you of a place where your soul once lived, laughed, loved, and learned. You might find yourself inexplicably familiar with the culture's customs. You might crave the food, wear the clothing, or speak the language with an ease that surprises you. Some describe it as coming home, a sensation so deep and emotional, you can't explain it, only feel it. And maybe that's because you have been there before, not in this life, but in another. So when you feel that ancient pull, that unshakable bond with a different culture or era, don't ignore it. It may be your soul calling you back to a time it remembers, and a place it once called home. 6. Deja vu moments. Have you ever paused in the middle of an ordinary moment and suddenly felt like you've been there before? Maybe you're standing in a place you've never visited, and yet you know the view, the layout, the way the light hits the walls. You finish someone's sentence or respond to a question that hasn't even been asked yet because you've already lived that moment. That eerie, surreal feeling is called déjà vu. And while science tries to explain it away as a trick of the brain, what if it's not a glitch, but a memory? A memory not from this life, but from a life your soul once lived. In many spiritual traditions, déjà vu is considered one of the strongest signs that your soul is recognizing something familiar, something from a previous incarnation. It's as if two lifetimes overlap for just a second, and in that flash, your soul remembers where it has already been. It might be a location you've never traveled to, yet you feel your heart skip a beat because deep down, you have stood there before, in another time, in another body. Or you meet someone for the first time and instantly feel a bond, a spark of knowing, like your souls have met before, because maybe they have. Déjà vu often arrives with a wave of emotion, joy, comfort, sadness, or even sudden, unexplained fear. Emotions that don't match the moment, but echo something older, something buried beneath the surface of memory. These aren't accidents. They're breadcrumbs, Little clues your soul leaves behind, reminding you that your story began long before this lifetime. So the next time you feel that strange wave of familiarity, don't brush it off. It might just be your past life tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you you've been here before. 7 unexplained physical marks or sensations. Your soul isn't the only thing that remembers. Sometimes your body carries the memories too. Have you ever noticed a birthmark that seems oddly specific? A strange pain or sensation that has no medical explanation? Maybe it's a scar you've had since birth, in a place that feels important, but you can't quite explain why. Some believe these physical marks, these silent signatures, may be the final imprints of a previous life. Wounds, injuries, even the cause of death from a past incarnation, carried forward into the next body, as if the soul never fully let go of the experience. A birthmark on the chest could echo a fatal blow from long ago. A chronic ache in the shoulder might mirror an old injury from a battlefield or accident, long forgotten by the mind, but not by the spirit. There are even stories of people who have sudden, unexplainable physical sensations. The phantom weight of long hair brushing against their back, the tightness of armor around the chest, or the pressure of jewelry they've never worn in this life. All memories of bodies and lives they once lived. And then there's the other side. Some souls carry physical talents across lifetimes, a natural sense of balance, rhythm, or strength. Dancers who move like they've trained for years on their first try. Martial artists, athletes, healers, whose bodies seem to remember before the mind can catch up. Could it be muscle memory from a past life? A skill honed over lifetimes, buried deep in your soul's cellular memory? So if you've ever wondered why your body reacts a certain way, why it hurts in places it shouldn't, or moves with unexpected grace, look beyond the physical. You might be feeling the echoes of a life your soul has already lived, and your body is still trying to tell the story. 8 intense soul connections. Have you ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever? No introductions, no awkward small talk, just a deep, immediate connection, as if your souls recognized each other before your names were even exchanged. That kind of bond, instant, unshakable, and almost mystical, is one of the most powerful signs that you may have crossed paths in a past life. In the philosophy of reincarnation, it's believed that souls travel together through lifetimes. You may be a lover in one life, a sibling in another, a teacher, a rival, a stranger who changed everything with a single glance. These are often called soul contracts, agreements made before birth to meet again in different forms, for growth, for healing, for closure. And when you meet them again in this life, you know, there's a magnetic pull, a feeling of comfort, or sometimes discomfort, because not all soul connections are peaceful. Some come back to challenge you, to mirror your wounds, to finish what was left unfinished. Have you ever met someone and felt a surge of emotion, love, grief, anger, safety, that doesn't match your actual history together? That's not just chemistry, that's recognition. Even brief encounters can leave lasting impressions. The stranger who gave you advice you never forgot, the friend who felt like family from day one, the partner who entered your life like a storm or a sunrise. And sometimes the moment you lock eyes, you feel it. This isn't your first meeting, it's a reunion. So the next time someone enters your life and shifts your world, whether gently or chaotically, pay attention to that connection. Because it might be bigger than this lifetime. It might be a love, a bond, a lesson, carried across centuries, written into your soul. 9. Feeling like you don't belong. Have you ever felt out of place? Like you're living in a world that doesn't quite make sense to you? Like you're observing life from the outside, waiting for something to feel right, but nothing ever quite does. You might look around and wonder, why do I feel like a visitor in my own life? Why does the modern world feel too loud, too fast, too disconnected? As if your soul remembers a gentler, more meaningful way of being. This sense of not belonging isn't just sadness. It's not just introversion or being different. It's deeper. It's spiritual. Many people who believe in past lives say they felt this too, a constant, quiet ache, as if they've been placed in the wrong time, the wrong body, the wrong story. You might long for places you've never been. You might crave a simpler existence, surrounded by nature, art, or deep, soulful connection. Something hard to find in the noise of modern life. Or maybe you're pulled toward a certain culture, an era, a landscape, not out of fascination, but out of longing. Because some part of you remembers what it felt like to truly belong there. And that's the key. This feeling may not be about this life at all. It might be your soul's way of telling you that it's lived before, in a time or place that felt more aligned, more peaceful, more like home. This sign doesn't mean you're broken. It means your soul is ancient, wise, wounded, searching, remembering. You're not alone, and you're not lost. You're just someone who's walked many paths before, trying to find your footing once more. So now you've heard the signs, the phobias that make no sense, the dreams that feel more like memories, the strangers that feel like soulmates, and that quiet, unshakable feeling that you've been here before. Whether you've experienced one of these signs or all of them, it doesn't mean you have to fully believe in past lives. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need one thing: curiosity. Because what if the soul is deeper, older, and more powerful than we've ever imagined? What if every fear, every gift, every connection is a thread from a story that began long before you were born? And what if recognizing these signs is the first step to healing, remembering and growing into who you really are? So tell me, have you felt it? That pull? That moment of knowing? If even one part of this video resonated with you, drop a 100% in the comments. Let the world know you're awake, aware, and exploring your soul's journey. I'd love to hear your stories. Have you experienced any of these signs? Let's start a conversation down below. And if you want more deep dives like this into the mysteries of the soul, spirituality, and self-discovery, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open. Your journey doesn't end here. It might just be beginning.